Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt your legs tremble just a little more than they used to? Maybe you've watched a loved one, someone who used to be so full of life and energy, struggle just to carry a bag of groceries, or hesitate at the bottom of the stairs, unsure if they have the strength to make it up without holding the railing for dear life. It's subtle at first. A little more fatigue after a walk. A bit more stiffness in the mornings. And then one day, something simple, like lifting a pot or getting out of bed, feels heavier, slower, harder. You start asking yourself, is this just aging? Is this normal? Or worse, is this the beginning of something bigger? Now let me ask you something that most people don't even realize is happening right under their nose. What if the food you're eating, or not eating, is silently speeding up this decline? What if your everyday meals are making it easier for your body to lose muscle, mobility, and independence, without you even knowing it? Here's the truth most doctors won't explain unless you ask the right questions. After the age of 30, you start losing muscle. Not from lack of exercise. Not from disease. Just from time. And science has a name for this quiet process. It's called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. It starts gradually, just 3 to 8% per decade. But once you hit 60, that loss accelerates fast. And if you're not careful, that decline becomes not just noticeable. It becomes dangerous. According to the Journal of Gerontology and findings published in the Lancet, sarcopenia isn't just about getting weaker, it's directly linked to a higher risk of falls and fractures, a reduced immunity, a slower recovery from illness, and yes, even a shorter lifespan. But here's the part that no one talks about enough. This isn't just about strength. It's about independence. It's about dignity. It's about being able to walk into your kitchen, cook a meal, hug your grandkids, get out of bed with confidence, without help. And the most powerful thing, this is not your destiny. Because what you eat, starting today, can slow down, stop, and in some cases even reverse this process. Yes, you heard that right. Food isn't just fuel at your age, it's medicine. So in this video, we're going to uncover 7 essential foods, backed by real science, that can help you or your loved ones say goodbye to muscle loss and fight sarcopenia naturally. Not supplements. Not prescriptions. Just real food. Real results. Real hope. Some of these might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Others might surprise you. But every single one has been shown in clinical studies to help rebuild strength, preserve muscle, and give you back the vitality that age tries to take away. By the time we're done, you won't just know what to eat. You'll understand why it works, how it supports your muscles, your immune system, and your energy. So I want you to stay with me. Pause what you're doing. Turn up the volume. Take notes if you need to. And if you're here because you've noticed the signs, maybe in yourself, maybe in a parent or a friend, drop a comment below and write, "Stronger together." Let's build a community of strength, of knowledge, and of support. You are not alone. And please, before we dive in, tap that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe to Senior Healing for more real, science-backed ways to stay strong, healthy, and independent as we age. Alright, ready? Let's get into the 7 powerful foods that can help you say goodbye to muscle loss, starting with one that many people still get wrong. 1. Eggs. Nature's perfect protein. I want to tell you about a patient of mine, Mr. Ramirez. He's 72. Retired carpenter. Proud grandfather. Spent most of his life active, on his feet, swinging hammers, building homes. But a couple years into retirement, he started noticing the change. He'd say, "Doc, I just don't feel strong anymore. I try to get up from the couch, and my legs feel like jelly." He wasn't eating terribly, but like many older adults, he'd cut back on protein without realizing it. So we made one simple change. 2 boiled eggs every morning. That's it. 6 months later, he came back. Smiling. Walking taller. He said, "I carried my granddaughter around the zoo all afternoon. Didn't even feel tired." You see, eggs aren't just breakfast food, they're a muscle-preserving powerhouse. Scientifically speaking, eggs are one of the most complete protein sources we have. Each egg contains leucine, an amino acid that plays a key role in muscle protein synthesis. That's the process your body uses to build and repair muscle tissue. Leucine is like the ignition key in your car's engine. Without it, your body doesn't start the process of building muscle, even if the rest of your diet is perfect. Eggs also contain vitamin D, B12, and selenium, nutrients that support muscle health, nerve function, and energy metabolism. They're compact. They're affordable. And they're incredibly easy to prepare. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, cholesterol. For years, people avoided eggs thinking they'd clog up their arteries. But guess what? That myth has been debunked, big time. According to a landmark Harvard study in 2018, moderate egg consumption, around 1 a day, does not increase your risk of heart disease in healthy individuals. In fact, eggs can raise your HDL, the good cholesterol, while having little to no effect on LDL in most people. Of course, if you have specific cholesterol concerns, always check with your doctor. But for the majority of older adults, 1 to 2 eggs per day, especially boiled or poached, is not only safe, it's strategic for maintaining muscle mass. So if breakfast has become toast and tea, or worse, skipped entirely, bring the egg back to the plate. It's small, but mighty. Now, what if you're vegetarian? Or you just can't do eggs? Well, don't worry. There's a plant-based hero waiting to fill that protein gap, and it's more versatile than you think. 2. Lentils, the plant-based protein hero. Let me tell you about Ms. Angela. She's 80. Vegan for over 40 years. She came to me frustrated, saying, "I'm eating clean, doctor, but I'm losing muscle. I don't want to switch to meat, but I also don't want to lose my strength." So I asked her, "Are you getting enough protein?" She looked at me, paused, and said, "I think so." Turns out, like many plant-based eaters, she was relying heavily on vegetables and fruit, but not enough legumes. We added one thing: lentils. In soups, stews, even sprouted in salads. And the result? She started gaining her strength back. Her grip strength improved. Her walking pace increased. She felt in control again. So what's the secret behind lentils? Nutritionally, lentils are a goldmine. They're packed with plant protein, about 18 grams per cooked cup. They're rich in iron, which supports red blood cell function and oxygen delivery to muscles. They also contain zinc, which plays a critical role in muscle repair, enzyme function, and immune health. And on top of all that, they're high in fiber, which supports a healthy gut microbiome. That's important because chronic inflammation, often rooted in poor gut health, is a silent driver of sarcopenia. Now, some people say, plant proteins aren't complete. And they're partially right. Most legumes lack certain essential amino acids. But here's the good news: when you pair lentils with a grain like rice or quinoa, you get a complete protein. That means your body gets all the essential amino acids it needs to build and maintain muscle. And lentils are easy to digest, low in fat, and incredibly affordable. You don't need to eat them daily, but aiming for about 1 cup of cooked lentils, 4 to 5 times a week, is a fantastic target. They're also versatile: curries, stews, patties, even cold in salads. You can cook a batch and store it for the week. Now, if you're finding this helpful so far, if this kind of simple, science-backed elder care advice is what you've been searching for, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Join our growing family here at Senior Healing, where staying strong, informed, and independent is our top priority. We're in this together. Now, ready to add some color and antioxidants to your plate? Because the next food not only helps protect your muscles, it helps heal them too. Let's talk about one of nature's most vibrant protectors. 3. Salmon, the omega-3 muscle booster. I remember working with a gentleman named Mr. Lyle. Late 60s. Just had a hip replacement. Now, hip surgery at that age isn't just about the joint. It's about how quickly you regain strength and mobility after the surgery. Muscle wasting during recovery is a real risk. And Lyle knew that. So we looked at his diet. He was getting protein, sure, but what he wasn't getting were healthy fats. Specifically, omega-3 fatty acids. So I recommended he include wild-caught salmon, grilled or baked, at least twice a week. He gave it a shot. 3 months later, the physical therapist said, his recovery is faster than we expected. His balance is better. His gait is stronger. And he told me, I feel like I bounced back quicker than my buddies who had the same surgery. There's a reason for that. Scientifically, salmon is a powerhouse. It contains high levels of EPA and DHA, two long-chain omega-3 fatty acids that have direct effects on muscle metabolism. What does that mean for you? Well, EPA and DHA help reduce muscle inflammation, a silent factor in sarcopenia that we often ignore. They also improve what's called the anabolic response, how your muscles respond to protein intake. In other words, they help your body actually use the protein you eat to build and repair muscle tissue. And it's not just about strength. Omega-3s also support brain health, joint lubrication, and even help with mood and cognitive clarity, especially important as we age. Now, some folks tell me, Doctor, I don't eat fish because I heard it's hard to digest. That's a myth, at least when it comes to wild-caught salmon. It's rich, yes, but gentle. Especially when you prepare it simply, grilled, baked, or steamed. No heavy sauces. No deep frying. It melts in the mouth, and the protein is bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs it well. I suggest you aim for 2 to 3 servings per week. That's enough to gain the protective benefits without overdoing it. And if you can't find wild-caught, try sardines or mackerel, also rich in omega-3s. But let's say fish just isn't your thing. Maybe it's the smell, the taste, or a dietary choice. That's okay, because the next food we're about to explore is probably sitting right there in your fridge. Cool, creamy, and often overlooked. 4. Greek yogurt, the calcium and casein combo. Now this one hits close to home. My mother, bless her, went through a tough time in her late 70s. She'd been bedridden after a long illness. Her appetite was low. She was losing weight, and worse, losing muscle. Fast. We didn't make any drastic changes. Just small, daily tweaks. One of them, plain Greek yogurt, every morning. Sometimes with a spoonful of flaxseed. Sometimes with fresh berries. And let me tell you something. Her recovery, remarkable. Within weeks, she was walking more confidently. She had fewer falls. She was sleeping better. It may sound simple, but that bowl of yogurt was doing real work inside her body. Here's why. Greek yogurt is loaded with casein protein, a slow-digesting protein that feeds your muscles gradually over several hours. That's especially helpful overnight, when your body enters a fasting state and begins breaking down muscle. A small serving in the evening can protect that muscle during sleep. It's also rich in calcium, which is critical not just for bone health, but for muscle contraction and nerve signaling. You literally can't move your muscles properly without enough calcium. And it doesn't stop there. Greek yogurt also contains probiotics, live, beneficial bacteria that support gut health. And why does gut health matter for muscle? Because if your gut isn't functioning well, you won't absorb nutrients efficiently. Even if your diet is perfect, your muscles won't get what they need unless your digestion is in good shape. Now, what about that old claim, dairy causes inflammation? Well, let's clear that up. Only in people who are lactose intolerant. And here's the kicker. Greek yogurt is fermented, which means much of the lactose is already broken down. In fact, for most people, fermented dairy-like yogurt is anti-inflammatory, especially when it's plain and unsweetened. So what's the ideal approach? 1 cup per day. Preferably plain. Full fat or low fat, depending on your energy needs. You can sweeten it naturally with a handful of fruit, a drizzle of honey, or cinnamon if needed. It's simple. It's accessible. And it works. Now, we've talked about protein. We've talked about healthy fats. But what about something sweet? Something you crave? Believe it or not, this next food isn't just a treat. It's a healing agent for your aging muscles. We've talked about yogurt. We've talked about fish. But what if I told you that one of the most misunderstood superfoods for muscle health is also one of the most affordable, and often sitting in your kitchen fruit bowl right now? 5. Bananas. Muscle-friendly carbs and potassium. Now, picture this. A retired athlete, 67 years old. Once strong and agile. Now, he was waking up with muscle cramps. Struggling to stay active. He said, "Doc, I eat clean. Lots of protein. But I still feel weak." I asked, "How's your potassium intake?" He looked puzzled. "No idea." So I made a simple suggestion. 1 banana a day. He laughed. "Bananas? Aren't those too sugary?" But he trusted me and gave it a shot. 3 weeks later, he came back and said, "I haven't had a cramp in days. My legs feel less heavy." The improvement? Noticeable. Here's the science behind that. Bananas are rich in potassium, a vital mineral that most older adults simply aren't getting enough of. Potassium plays a critical role in how your nerves communicate with your muscles. Without enough of it, your muscles can misfire, leading to cramps, twitching, and fatigue. Even worse, it can impact your heart rhythm, especially in aging bodies already managing blood pressure or medications. But that's not all. Bananas are also a smart source of muscle-friendly carbohydrates. They help replenish glycogen stores, that's your muscles' stored energy. After a walk, light exercise, or even physical therapy, eating a banana can help your body recover and refuel faster. Now, you might have heard, bananas are too high in sugar. Let's clear that up. When eaten on their own, bananas do raise blood sugar slightly. But pair one with protein, say, a boiled egg, a handful of nuts, or some Greek yogurt, and you lower the glycemic impact. That combination supports stable energy, rather than a sugar crash. So how do you add bananas the right way? I recommend 1 banana a day, preferably before or after activity. Think of it as fuel for your muscles. If you have diabetes or are watching blood sugar, just balance it with fiber or protein and avoid overripe bananas. And remember, nutrition isn't about perfection. It's about patterns. Small, Consistent habits over time lead to big results. No. We've touched on fruits, dairy, legumes, and fish. But there's one more item I want to introduce. A tiny seed, often dismissed as just a garnish. Yet it holds a powerhouse of nutrients, especially for older muscles and bones. 6. Pumpkin seeds, the zinc powerhouse. Let me tell you about Angela. She's 74. Active, curious, sharp-minded, but always complained about low energy and nagging aches that didn't quite go away. We looked at her labs. Nothing dramatic. But I noticed mild zinc deficiency, very common in aging adults. So I said, Angela, every evening, take a small handful of raw pumpkin seeds. Nothing fancy. Just chew them slowly before bed. She shrugged and agreed. Within a month, she said, Doctor, I don't know what it is, but I sleep better. My joints ache less. And I wake up with a bit more energy. There's a very good reason for that. Pumpkin seeds, or pepitas, are one of the richest plant-based sources of zinc, magnesium, and tryptophan. Let's break that down. Zinc is essential for muscle repair and immune function. It even helps with testosterone production. Yes, even in aging women, small amounts of testosterone are needed for muscle maintenance and energy balance. Magnesium supports muscle relaxation, nerve signaling, and blood pressure control. It also helps prevent restless legs and cramping at night. Tryptophan is an amino acid that supports the production of serotonin and melatonin, important for mood and sleep quality. Better sleep equals better muscle recovery. Now, here's the myth. Seeds are just snacks. No, my friend, they're nature's multivitamin in a bite-sized form. They pack more nutrients per gram than many larger foods we eat. So how do you use them? Just 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. Sprinkle them on your oatmeal, add them to salads, or simply enjoy them raw as a bedtime snack. Avoid the salted or flavored kinds. Those often have too much sodium or artificial oils. Stick to raw or dry roasted, unsalted seeds. This tiny food supports your muscles, bones, immune system, and even sleep cycle. In just a small handful. No. We've come a long way, talking about animal proteins, legumes, fruits, seeds. But before we wrap up, I want to finish strong. Let's revisit a humble grain, something many of us eat for breakfast but rarely give credit to. A food that, when prepared right, can stabilize energy, support muscle growth, and calm inflammation. Shall we go into that next? 7. Oats. Complex carbs for sustained strength. Let me take you back to a moment I remember clearly. There was a sweet, widowed senior in her early 80s. Lived alone. Every morning, she'd start her day with those brightly colored cereal boxes. Lots of sugar, not much substance. She'd tell me, Doctor, I wake up hungry, I eat, but I still feel drained by mid-morning. She assumed it was just part of getting older. But after a few conversations, we made one simple shift. We swapped the sugary cereals for old-fashioned oats. We dressed them up with a handful of crushed walnuts, blueberries, and a pinch of cinnamon. Within 2 weeks, she said, I feel like I have more energy to walk around the garden. My mind feels clearer too. See, oats are more than just a breakfast filler. They're a foundational fuel for aging muscles. Here's what the science says. Oats are packed with complex carbohydrates, which means they digest slowly and release steady energy throughout your day. That's especially important for seniors, whose metabolism shifts and may need longer-lasting fuel to stay active and sharp. They're also high in B vitamins, like thiamine, niacin, and folate, which help convert the food you eat into usable energy for your muscles. Think of B vitamins as the spark plugs in your body's engine. Without them, your muscles run sluggishly, even if you're eating well. They also contain beta-glucan, a unique type of fiber that not only lowers bad cholesterol but also helps manage inflammation, something deeply linked to age-related muscle breakdown. But let's clear up a common myth I hear all the time. Oats are bland. They taste like cardboard. Only if you let them. Add a dash of cinnamon, a spoonful of ground flaxseed, or toss in some sliced banana or chopped apples. Top it off with Greek yogurt or almond butter for a balance of protein and healthy fats. Not only do you get a flavor-packed meal, but it also becomes a complete, muscle-friendly breakfast. And the best part? Oats are affordable, accessible, and extremely easy to digest, a perfect combination for older adults. So what's the ideal way to enjoy them? Start your morning with half a cup to 1 full cup of oats, cooked gently in water or milk. Pair them with protein, like yogurt or seeds, and a touch of healthy fat to slow down glucose absorption and keep your muscles fed for longer. This isn't just breakfast. It's proactive healing from the inside out. Now pause with me for just a second. We've walked through 7 foods, each one backed by science, each one selected for one very specific reason. To help you, or someone you love, fight back against sarcopenia naturally. But food isn't just fuel. It's memory. It's love. It's comfort. And for many seniors, it's one of the last things we feel we have control over. So how does all of this truly affect you and your loved ones emotionally? Let's take a breath and talk about that next. Because behind every scientific fact, behind every dietary tip, there's something deeper, more personal. Muscle loss isn't just about feeling weaker. It's about watching your independence slowly slip through your fingers. Tasks that once felt effortless, standing from a chair, carrying a bag of groceries, walking across the room, suddenly feel like challenges. And if you're a caregiver, if you're watching someone you love go through this, you know the feeling. You see the frustration in their eyes. The way they hesitate before getting up. The way they laugh it off when they stumble. But deep down they feel it. They know something is changing. It's tough to accept. And it's even harder to admit. Because muscle loss doesn't make you any less you. But it can feel like pieces of your freedom are quietly fading. But listen closely, because here's the part one want you to remember. We are not powerless. This isn't a slow slide we have to accept with silence. Not when science has shown us so clearly, food is medicine. Not when every bite we take is a message we send to our body, either to preserve strength or to let it go. And this is where preparedness replaces fear. This is where love turns into action. Because when you know what's possible, when you understand what sarcopenia is and how deeply it's tied to your diet, you begin to see that it's not too late. You begin to see that there is a path forward. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just start with one small step. Maybe tomorrow, you swap cereal for oats. Maybe at lunch, you add some lentils to your soup. Maybe dinner includes a piece of salmon instead of takeout. That's it. One action. One change. One bit of strength regained. And then another. And soon, you've built a foundation of strength, resilience, and healing. And if you've been feeling discouraged, or tired, or afraid, hear this. Your body is still listening. It's still responding. It still wants to heal. And with the right tools, foods that nourish, support, and strengthen, you can rebuild. No matter your age. No matter your starting point. There's hope. There's science. And there's a community that stands with you, right here at Senior Healing. You're not walking this road alone. Not anymore. Let's quickly go over the 7 powerful foods we talked about today. Each one plays a unique role in fighting sarcopenia and protecting your strength as you age. Eggs, nature's perfect protein, rich in leucine. Lentils, the plant-based hero packed with iron, zinc, and fiber. Salmon, full of omega-3s to reduce inflammation and build muscle. Greek yogurt, with calcium, probiotics, and slow-digesting casein. Bananas, for muscle-friendly potassium and recovery fuel. Pumpkin seeds, tiny seeds with big muscle benefits, zinc, magnesium, and more. Oats, a reliable breakfast staple for sustained energy and B vitamins. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which one surprised you the most? Or which one are you planning to add to your meals this week? Scroll down, take a moment, and comment below with your thoughts. Even just writing, starting with eggs, or didn't know about pumpkin seeds, can inspire someone else reading. And if you found this helpful, if this video gave you hope, clarity, or even just one good idea, please subscribe to Senior Healing. This is more than a channel. It's a growing family of people who care deeply about health, aging with grace, and walking through the years with strength, dignity, and science-backed support. Every subscriber, every like, every share, helps bring this message to someone who might be silently struggling. So if you know someone who needs this, maybe a parent, a friend, or a neighbor, share this video with them. Let's spread healing forward. And I'll leave you with this. Aging doesn't mean weakening. It means evolving. It means listening to your body in new ways. It means making smarter, simpler choices that let you live fully, on your terms. Let's age with power, with purpose, with strength. Thank you for being here. I'm honored to walk this journey with you. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, stay strong, stay hopeful, and stay healing.